Hey guys, had a couple of questions about the Peak Fly Tying Vise. I've had it for 9 years now. I bought this in 2007, 2008. This is the first fly tying vise I've ever bought, the only fly tying vise I've ever bought. Now, so have I been happy with it? Yes, I love it. 9 years there on these jaws, and so it's time to get these replaced. But anyway, the question was, okay, if you're adding tinsel or floss or whatever with the rotary, doesn't it also wrap your tying thread since the hook is also turning? And with a small hook, that could add a lot of bulk, unless you unwind the thread. And I see people who buy rotary vise and they don't actually use the rotary feature. That's the reason why I wanted to get a rotary vise at first, because I wanted to get the rotary vise and learn on a rotary vise and use the rotary vise to its fullest extent from the start. Most people who start with a standard sort of fixed vise, when they buy a rotary vise, they don't actually use the rotary feature. They just use it like a regular vise, and so it's like, well, what's the point? You could have kept what you had and saved the money. So Mustad 3366 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, well, we're using yarn here as my favorite body material because it's cheap and you can get, like, you can tie tens of thousands of flies and you can wrap thread like that, right? And that's what you've seen me do before. Now you see how that's balled up on there like that? That's what he's talking about. Now, how do you prevent that from happening here when you're gonna wrap this around here, all right? If you just leave that dangling, that's just gonna add a bunch of thread, and guess what happens? It ends up a lot of bulk, and then you're just, you know, it's just kind of stupid. Lock things in with half hitches. Here we're gonna lock this in with a half hitch. We're gonna come all the way back forward, and we're gonna lock this in with a half hitch. Okay, all right, you don't even have to lock it in there, but you have to put at least one half hitch on here. And then you're gonna use your bobbin cradle, which mine has, but I've long since lost it. I have no idea where it is because the plastic thing broke, and I just use a bottle or whatever. I can just twist all day long, and never have that thread build up. Now, normally you'd have a bobbin cradle that sits here, about right here. It swings around. It's like a piece of coat hanger or something. That's all it is. Here, let's get Stuka Bear here. There's Stuka Bear. It's my one and only Christmas ornament, Stuka Bear. Me and him go back a long ways. Not too long, since, you know, since my dad died. You see, you can use anything for a bobbin cradle. You can use the thing that comes with it, or you can just set up something like that. The thread doesn't move. It's locked in with a half hitch. It won't spin around. You'll have people have this vise and they'll just be sitting here, you know, doing that. I'm like, dude, you just wasted your time, your energy, your money, your life. Second question is, yeah, has to do with the height of this jaw here. You know, there's several vices where you can actually adjust this part up and down. This doesn't have it. And my personal opinion, I think it's unnecessary, but that's my opinion. It may not be up to you. The question is, can you use multiple hooks and does it automatically center, all those sorts of things? The answer is yes, it does. Here's a number 10 sprout hook, you know. Does it look center to you? Number 4 hook, sprout hook. Does that look center to you? See? Number 2 sprout. Does it look center to you? See? Number 2. Again, if you want it lower, you can just lower it. You don't have to have it. That's actually a little off center. That's a little lower than it needs to be. Now let's jump up to something big like a number 3/0. You can begin to see now, once you get to that 3/0, you say, oh, that's a little, once you get there, that's a little bit off centered, right? Well, guess what? I just simply lower it. And it's like perfectly centered. Right? 5/0 circle hook. All right, now if I just put it in there regularly here, I have to let this one all the way out just about. You say, oh, that's way off center. Yep, it sure is. 5/0, right? But all I gotta do is lower the stinking hook, man. Does that look centered to you? Yeah, I mean, it's offset, right? It's curved or offset hook, which I hate tying on curved and offset hooks simply because it gives that weird motion. But this is a catfish hook. I just dressed a catfish hook with some crystal flash, just like I was trying to do with the other. Pretty well centered. And as you can see, I've actually tied something on there. So now I'm going to buy the saltwater jaws because I'm tying bigger hooks, and so these jaws are about ready to replace after about almost a decade of use. So, you know, that's not too bad. And so that's this month's frequently asked questions about the peak fly tying vise. See ya.